Hi guys, Ronnie here and welcome to the workshop, which by the way is slowly but surely taking its final form. And today we're going to talk about my road bike. This was pretty dull from the beginning, so I didn't do many upgrades on it, but today I'm going to do a small but significant one. If you watch my channel regularly, then you know that I prefer SRAM components. I run SRAM AXS on this bike, and I will run the same group set on my time trial bike when it arrives tomorrow, hopefully. So it's what I prefer, but one thing that I don't really like in SRAM, and where I think Shimano really has the upper hand, are the sprint shifters and the satellite shifters in general. So if you look at the Sram Blip, it's basically a rubberized little micro switch, and the problem I have with this one, that if you put it on a road bike under the bar tape, it's pretty bulky and pretty hard to press because it has this rim around it, and generally I find it too big. Also the cable can't be easily replaced, and there are not that many versions. And then you have the clicks which fit into the ends of the extensions. I also have them lying around somewhere here, but the problem with those is, of course, they fit only on the time trial extensions and they're very hard to remove, and then they are too easy to click because the button on there is pretty exposed. So I was looking at the Shimano catalog, and for one of the recent builds I had to modify the cable lengths on a Shimano system, and basically there I found out that it's nothing else than a regular micro switch. So what I decided to do was trying to get hold of the focus now. So what I decided to do was get a Shimano Sprinter switch like I have here, and just basically modify it to fit the SRAM Blip connector. And it's exactly what I've done. The Shimano sprint shifter is just, well, a micro switch, just like the SRAM Blip. All I need to do is cut the wire, resolder it onto the SRAM connector, and there you go. Did that work? Well, fingers crossed. But yes, it does work beautifully. As you can see, the switch itself much smaller, much neater, with this nice little self-adhesive loop to fit either an extension or a drop bar. So really it's perfect, and one thing I really like about it is the cable is actually flattened, so and it's much slimmer. The two strands inside are side by side, not next to each other, well, not on top of each other like with SRAM or a regular cable, which was one of my quirks because the cable was too long. I had it bunched up here, but then when I was on the levers, it was pressing on against my palm, which was really uncomfortable. So now I'm going to remove the blips and install these modified blips. I would like to note that the first time I saw this was on a Katusha bike. I think it was Tony Martin's Canyon, but I thought it was something quite complicated and it has to do with programming. But then I realized that, well, this is also just a micro switch, unlike Shimano's other units where you have the microchip in there that has firmware and controls and everything. So this is real simple. So I have the bar tape peeled back. I'm going to readjust my position. One gripe I also had with my blips was that I had them too far up. I will move them lower onto the bar. Well, I'm actually holding the bar when in the drops, so it should work much better that way. So let's do it, and we'll see how it turns up at the end. Okay, the little mod is now ready, and I think you'll agree, looks much neater than those bulky blip shifters. Here we have just a small little nubbin. I positioned it quite far down so it sits into a good position when I'm in the drops, and it's like a trigger basically, so really it makes more sense than having it somewhere here where you can just reach the brake lever anyway. So something like this in a sprinting position will be just fine. The bar tape here is a lot neater as well, no cables poking through because there's no excess cable, as it runs down nicely flattened here on the drop. Okay, so this was a little mod, quite cost effective, nothing too complicated, and really makes it much nicer overall in terms of satellite shifting. I hope you have found this useful. If you want to know more about other bikes that I work on and other things that I do with them, then don't forget to tune into the channel and subscribe. It's all for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.